The following program makes use of copywritten material as part of a psychological examination of music. All music copyrights remain property of their respected creators.
Hey, friends. Today's show is brought to you by 12th Street Bar. If you're ever in need of just a good, tasty drink, and I'm not talking about some Kool-Aid or some tasty cold pop, get yourself over to 12th Street Bar. This is the place you want to go to for a good drink. Okay, I went there the other day, and I asked for a tasty Jameson, and they gave me all the Jamesons they had, and it was the most wonderful treat I ever experienced in my whole life. Okay, also, not to mention, this is a pretty happening place. Okay, I went there 2 days ago, and there was just so many fucking people in there. I'm not even exaggerating, like packed to the rim with people, and I think it was just a normal fucking open mic night. Just a lot of people just having fun. Get yourself over there and experience the fun with them, okay? They also got a couple shows coming up. Who do we got? We got March 17th. We got Eastgate and local sensation, local heartthrob, Logan McCoon. We love Logan McCoon over here at the Conversationalists. I think you guys will love him as well. Also, March 31st, we got Mary Brett Stringer. Plays with some lovely acoustic folk music, so if you're into that vibe, definitely check her out, man. This is the place to be in Huntsville, not just for the music, not just for the drinks, but just the overall experience. What else are you gonna do on a Friday night? You gonna go to your local fucking nasty shenanigans, fucking listen to some terrible country music? No, don't do it. Stop. Don't do it. Get yourself over to 12th Street Bar, have a good drink, listen to good music, play some pool. Do some open mic, do some karaoke. You just have a good time, man. That's what this place is all about, having a good time. Get yourself over to 12th Street Bar now.
This episode is also brought to you by Alpha Vapes Vape Store. All you cloud builders probably already know Alpha Vapes is the premier shop in town to get your cloud creating tools. You old school smokers gotta give it to this generation for making a healthier alternative for nicotine intake. And non-smokers, good for you. Alpha Vapes is the place in town for electronic cigarettes and house blend e-liquids. No bullshit. Today I bought one of their house blend flavors, Toucan Sam. Tastes just like Fruit Loops. Now I can taste cereal and get a buzz. Just what I've always wanted. They got over 350 house flavors, from $7 for a 10 milliliter, 10 milliliter, 14 for a 30 milliliter, 21 for a 50 milliliter, and 42 for a 120 milliliter. The nicotine levels from 0 to 27 in increments of 3. Today I stepped down to a 3. I'm making progress. Also, don't forget, on March 4th, they'll be hosting a cloud competition. It only costs $1 at the door, and you immediately get 2 tickets for the giveaway raffle. Any purchase you make in store that evening gets you an additional ticket. There'll be free food, drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and music. And the competition itself is going to be based on cloud length, volume, and density. Again, this will be held on March 4th. Alpha Vapes is located at 3011 Texas 30, Suite 104, Huntsville, Texas, and that's between Wingstop and Radio Shack. They're open from Monday through Saturday at 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Alpha Vapes, their motto is leaving the pack behind, but I kind of want to change it up. I want to say Alpha Vapes, Beta.
Ask somebody.
Hey kids, welcome to today's show. In today's episode, we were joined by, I said Logan McCoon was a sweetheart, but this guy probably tops it as far as sweetheart goes. We were joined by Josh Jackson.
Man, that was a cool dude.
Yeah, he was a really fun guy to talk to. We talked about his new project, Josho and the Guppy... Gentleman Guppy.
Gentlewoman Guppy.
Gentleman Guppy.
Gentleman Guppy.
But technically it's a gentlewoman Guppy.
So far.
So far, yes.
Yeah.
But we talked to him about his new music that's coming out. Really exciting stuff. Really. Like his music, like when you first showed me his music, I was like, fuck yeah, this is going to be fun. And then listening to all of his songs that he's got a really, really fun and really cool sound to him. And he's kind of in our circle of people who we know as far as the overall Huntsville music scenes. Like he's BFFs with them Hammer Party dudes, and apparently I had a jam session with him like 10 years ago that I just realized. So yeah, he's a really cool guy, and we got to talk about it. We talk about the in-depth personal stuff that was going on with some of his songs, which I thought was really fun because we normally don't get that much out of our. Nothing against them, because they don't want to talk too much about what their songs are about. But we talked about what some of his songs are about.
We went pretty deep.
Yeah, we pretty balls deep into this one, and it was a lot of fun. It was really fun. Can't say enough good things about this dude. So hopefully, sometime soon we'll be seeing a live show from this dude. He's taking his time. He's working on his songs. He's getting everything done right.
The music is really good.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely experimental and very electronic, and that's a lot of the stuff that I like. So whenever I first listened to it, I was like, yeah, this shit is awesome. And luckily, the songs that I like the most, he's sharing with us. So at the end of the episode, we're definitely going to have his music played for us.
Yeah, also. And you can definitely check him out. Was it josho.bandcamp.com? Yeah, just check.
Or bandcamp.josho, one of the two.
Just...
You guys can be experimental, too.
Just do Bandcamp, and then do Josho. Easy to find.
Yeah, I did bandcamp.com, and then in the Bandcamp search, I typed in Josho, and it was the first option. And, yeah, man, listen to his stuff, share his stuff. When he has shows, freaking go watch it, man.
Give him lots of love, because the dude deserves it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
He's a loving guy, man. He gave us hugs and shit.
He gave us sweet hugs, and he paid for our breakfast. And
not to mention the reach around.
The reach rounds. Yeah. The reach rounds were pretty great. Get a hold of this guy. He'll give you a reach round and just give you a huge hug after. He'll give you a breakfast, a hug, and a reach around. That's all you could ask for in life.
Yeah,
and he'll give
that's a good friend.
That's a great friend.
Why do you think me and Niko have been friends for so long?
You're saying way too much. Anyways, Johnny, take us there, buddy.
All right. Welcome to the Conversationalist.
Let's talk music.
We were listening to some, like I said before, we were listening to Hammer Party before.
Yeah.
And I don't know what song, I don't know the name of the song, but it gave me this image, like, I hope to God they make a music video someday, where, like, they're, like, you remember, like, those, like, shitty surfer movies back in the day where, like, they had, like, the green screen in the back and they had to, like, pretend like they were surfing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to see that, but them, like, playing their guitars and, like, have, like, 2 surfboards for the drums and everything like that. I feel like that would, you know what I'm saying?
I honestly, with Hammer Party, I really get a Munsters vibe from them.
Yeah.
Monsters.
Something about
hell.
the bass line, it just kind of seems, I don't know, it's like an old school, like, rockabilly feel.
Yeah. But what I was thinking is that one song we were listening to where the lyrics are like,
it's
now
cruising.
But you were saying, like, now I'm surfing.
Yeah,
now I'm surfing.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, this totally works for that song. But then the next song is like, it totally works. Same thing. Like, just get the surfer, like the shitty backdrop. It totally worked. Josh, before we get into this big conversation, interview, whatever you want to call it, we're going to get into, I've been doing this thing where I've been asking, like, total hypothetical type questions.
Okay.
So is that cool if we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we're going to go for this. Most of these are, like, just hypothetical situations, maybe a few multiple choice, and then just kind of direct answers. But Okay. Question number 1. You go to a discotheque in Paris with some friends, and you're enjoying the nightlife, the music, and the overall atmosphere. Suddenly, your friends disappear, and you find yourself alone. You then encounter a Frenchman named Jacques St. Pierre. He reeks of cigarettes, but overall he seems like a friendly guy. He says there's going to be an after party at a house not far from the club. You accept his invitation and go. Jacques introduces you to his French friends. Now, just think French people, like, striped shirts, the berets.
Red wine, cigarettes.
Yeah.
Cultured.
Intrigued by who you are, they ask if you have any random skills or talents that you would like to share as a form of entertainment for the party. What would you do? Like, what would like they expect you to be the show, the entertainment for the show, like I mean, for the after party. So like,
well, I mean, I guess my go-to would be like, I mean, I guess being a musician.
Yeah.
Like, anyone got a guitar? Or,
right.
I don't know, but
But is there any other like hidden talents or stuff that you can do that sort of be like, hey, check this out?
I don't know. I can dance like a fool. I mean,
I've seen this.
yeah. If you've seen me attend any shows,
Hammer Party. You got the what was it, the scat kind of dance?
Yeah, I
was trying to do it with you, but I just can't hang.
See, I always thought that was more of like the Carlton from Fresh Prince. Like,
I can do a mean Carlton
but
as well.
Yeah.
No. I would probably either play music or dance. Yeah.
I feel like that's what most musicians do. I was just wondering if there is like any like you know, like you can do magic tricks or you know.
I wish. No, that's the extent.
But what would you do if like there was no like guitar around? Like, would you just like sing a cappella, or would you like try and like use tables or like clapping or like?
Yeah, I guess both actually. I guess I would attempt an acapella. I mean, this is obviously based on probably like how much I've had to drink at this French party.
What's the first song that would come to your mind doing the acapella?
I actually, the only time I've ever sang acapella in front of like anyone, probably like seriously, was probably like this old Irish folk song called Peggy Gordon.
Wow.
And it's just a very like kind of.
Is this a drinking song?
I mean, that's most Irish. Folk songs, they like write it at a bar because they're like fucking depressed over.
There's just one song I think would make a great Irish drinking song, and I've never really heard anybody do it. But I don't know how Irish I am because I really don't know my history that much. I got the red beard, and that's pretty much it. But I think I could pass.
Yeah.
I think I could pass for Irish. But there's one song, and I swear I would. Let me open this up real quick. I gotta. It's gonna be a.
That sounded tasty.
I don't mind the sun. Sometimes the images it shows.
Yeah.
I can taste you on my lips and smell you in my clothes. Cinnamon and sugary, with softly spoken lies. You never know just how you look through other people's eyes.
Oh, that's a fine tune right there.
Totally works. All right.
Yes.
That
was very believable.
Yeah. Question number 2.
Okay.
You're at a park with your lady friend, and you come across a lost dog. He's a corgi with a blue bandana around his neck. Underneath, he has a collar with the name Django. You are both blown away by his overall cuteness, but know he has a home somewhere, and you decide not to take him home with you. As you pet him goodbye and good luck, he then proceeds to look at you and say in clear English, "Listen to me. You may not believe this, but I am a spy dog in disguise, and I'm on a mission. I'm hunting a rogue Labrador whose current alias is Willie Nelson. He has documents on my boss and must be stopped. Will you help me?" Do you A, look at each other in pure confusion and wonder what the fuck was in this bowl I just smoked? B, hunt down Willie Nelson and end the 10-month feud between the two spies, allowing Django to finally find peace knowing he was able to accomplish his mission? Or C, tell the dog to go home and continue your walk in the park?
I mean, I'm a pretty adventurous type of guy, I guess. So, I mean, I would definitely help this dog. Of course, I would have to consult, my better half.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
Gotta do
Check
that.
my schedule first, maybe go home, look at the calendar, see what I can schedule in between, the day job and whatnot.
Was there an E, kill it with fire?
No.
Automatic demon possession.
Right.
Anything that doesn't, correspond with my knowledge of, realities. Like, yeah, that's the devil.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking while I was coming up with the question, like, because I love animals, I love dogs.
Yeah,
I have a bearded dragon in my room, and I was thinking, what happened if he just looked at me and was like, "Hey, man."
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like you have too much of a choice at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, what happens if you don't?
Right.
What are the possibilities within, reality that you had no concept of before? It's like, well, this dude could have like, you know, some powers, man. He can probably do more than just talk.
I imagine him
ask
just
for
his
help.
little quirky hand, like reaching into his
could
back
spike
pocket,
you,
and, like
yeah.
just like get a little laser gun and pew, you know, probably.
Pew pew.
It's like a miniature gun.
Yeah, yeah, it's a corky sized gun. Okay, question number. Now you're married.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. So this is gonna be my sweet question that I ask. Name a movie, a book, and a song that you best feels captures what it's like being with your wife. Now, when I say that, I don't mean just for you to go to like James Blunt, you're beautiful, you know,
Oh,
like some
God,
like
yeah.
corny shit like that. You know, because like I have a lot of friends who have said like who have gotten married real young, and they're just like, yeah, man, it's just like, you know, living with your best friend, you know. And
Yeah.
like, a lot of them are like, I made a huge fucking mistake.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, anyone who's like been together for, you know, a few years, I mean, they've probably had all of those thoughts at some point or another. You know, you work through
Right.
it all, of course, but
Certainly.
let's see, a song, a book, and a movie. Let's see, a song. I don't know. We're both into like, I don't know, pretty weird, I don't know, more experimental bands. Like we're both like the biggest Animal Collective fans. So probably like Purple Bottle from their Feels album. It's a real upbeat, kind of playful, but kind of psychedelic screaming and stuff. So like it's
Psychedelic screaming.
yeah, it's
Sounds like an acid trip gone
It's-
really wrong.
yes, no. Well, very, very right. It's a playful scream.
Oh, okay.
But no. Oh yeah. No, I will show you all that song after this podcast.
You got to.
'Cause it's
Yeah.
fun. So let's see. Book.
Or just a story in general.
Yeah, story in general.
I don't know how. Are you an avid book reader?
I'm very ADD. So I've read a lot
Coloring
of
books
parts,
count.
Yeah.
parts of books. But let's see, what's a book? Honestly, I don't know. She's completely obsessed with Harry Potter, so and we've bonded over that. So I guess I would probably just go with like, I don't know, The Sorcerer's Stone or something like that.
Respectable, you know?
The Sorcerer's Touch.
Yeah, The Sorcerer's Touch. Yeah, probably that. And a movie.
Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah, I mean, I would have picked another Harry Potter thing just because, like, I don't know. At least when we first started dating and all those movies kept coming out.
Yeah.
But
How long have you been together with your wife?
we've been together, God, like a little over 7 years, I
Oh,
think.
nice.
Maybe 6. Yeah, 7 years. Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah, man. Once she hears this, she's
I
gonna
know,
like,
yeah.
that
I'm like,
motherfucker didn't know.
Well, come on. Like, at some point, you know, after like 6 or 7 years, you gotta like think back quite a ways.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
But so hopefully
So,
she'll give me the benefit
If
of
she
the
listens
doubt.
to this podcast, you have to talk over it just for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 4. Out of the following, you can only pick one day, and that's okay. You know, this is an example. You know, like Taco Tuesday, or you know, like there's like a
Oh, I
day
know
like
Taco
associated with a
Tuesday.
day. Okay, so like out of the following days, you have to pick one day, and that's the only thing you could eat or drink technically for a
Okay.
year. Okay, would you go with Margarita Mondays, Taco Tuesdays, Wonton Wednesdays, 2 Soup Thursdays, which is 2 soups for the price of one,
Nice. That's a good deal.
Fried Rice Friday, Spaghetti Saturday, and just to make things classy, go with a little bit of Smoked Trout Sundays. Me personally, I don't mean to answer. Me personally, I'd go for that 2 Soup Thursday because I love the idea. You get one, you get another one for free.
Yeah, that is a good deal. That is a good deal. I like soup. I'm not like, I don't know. I would probably go with Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday seems like the
Yeah.
overall. I feel like
Yeah.
when I wrote that down, I was like, I think everyone's gonna agree on Taco Tuesday.
Margarita Monday sounds
But you gotta
pretty
think,
nice too.
but the
'cause
kicker is
Mondays
every single
generally,
day of the year. Like for 1 year, you could only eat
Yeah,
that one thing.
yeah.
So drinking margaritas for a year may sound fun, but like that's gonna end very badly. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna become a fucking wreck.
I'm setting myself up for failure
Yeah.
for the rest of the week by only drinking margaritas on
Yeah.
Monday.
But
the same thing could be like though for Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a bad after effect.
Yeah,
Right.
if it was all day, for sure. So yeah, no, I would have to go with Taco Tuesday.
Is that agreeable with you, sir? Would you go with Taco Tuesday?
Dude,
Or maybe Fried Rice Friday?
Every day I have a taco. I mean, usually, anyway, so
Every day is Taco Tuesday.
every day it's Taco Tuesday.
Amen to that. Okay, last question. You're in your home studio working on a new song, and it's coming out pretty well, and so far you're really digging everything you're coming up with. But suddenly you get the worst case of writer's block. All the lights inside turn off, and you just are feeling nothing creatively. You decide to take a break. You decide to take a break and enjoy a cold soda pop, and let your brain find center. After a few hours, you go back, and you still have writer's block. You sit in your chair contemplating end of the day on a more sour note due to not being able to get back to the very positive groove that you once were in. But suddenly you decide that's not the way to do things, and you then draw from a really positive place for inspiration. What person, persons, place, or thing would you turn to help you find inspiration? Because I know whenever I've hit those moments with writer's block, I'm sort of like, what can I go to, like, in my mind to just sort of like give me that push? Like, I've gone to dark places, I've gone to really positive places, and usually what came out was a lot better than what I was doing, you know, because I'm sort of like putting a little bit more extra into it.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of boost of, you know, inspiration.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, with my songwriting and trying to be inspired, one of the things I do is I always try and approach it differently, you know, each time, whether it's like, you know, picking a different instrument or like just being in a different setting. I mean, I guess I would just analyze what I've been doing and not do that. I would probably go to I would try probably a different instrument, or just scrap the song, or just put the song on hold and like start something else.
So you've never been like stuck in a rut and you just sort of take a moment to yourself and think about like a certain like you know, certain thought in your mind, just sort of like get the creative juices going or anything?
Oh, no, for sure. And there have been a lot of different stuff I have tried, different exercises. I mean, different what do they call it? Just different brainstorming, kind of just writing nonsense on a page, or I don't know. A lot of it is it is very internal. I mean, I guess I would occasionally maybe try and listen to something I might not usually listen to.
Yeah.
Right.
That can often like kind of get me out of the feedback loop that's going on in my head. 'Cause we all get in those ruts. It's like you're just thinking about the same thing over and over, and it's hard to like get away from that. You know, get
It's
like
a
an
downward
objective.
spiral.
Yeah, it is. Well, because it's like that feedback that like builds up in your head.
Yeah.
It just gets louder and louder, and you
Yeah.
can only think about that one thing.
Right.
So, I don't know. Like there isn't really like a formula that I go to like every time. I guess.
But you're saying like sometimes you go to like a different instrument. You feel like if you start on one thing and you're just not going anywhere, like you'll be able to find something like a new aspect to the song by going to a different instrument.
Yeah. Just whatever I'm doing, like, what's the phrase? You know, don't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. I guess. So yeah, I mean, just doing something different.
Sounds good. Well, Josh, we want to thank you so much for coming to our show. We are joined by Josho Jackson. I wanted to find some way to like, because 2 J's in your name, Josh Jackson.
Yeah.
Sounds very superhero-ish, like Peter Parker, Bruce Banner, Josh Jackson.
Yeah, I guess it has a ring to it.
We heard some of your music, and we were like, we got to get you on the show. But before we dive into anything, I just want to say on the air, thank you so much for that brunch that you paid for us.
Oh, yeah.
We were walking out of the place, and I was like, we didn't say thank you. We are so rude. So I wanted to say
thanks, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
No, well, it's better this way because now everyone knows my generosity.
Yeah. Hang out with Josh. He'll buy you lunch.
No!
But yeah, no, we heard some songs. Well, Johnny had showed me some of your music, and we were like, hell yeah, we got to get him on the show. Before we dive into that, though, I feel like I'm having. I could be completely wrong. This could backfire on me. I feel like I'm having some sort of strange deja vu with you. Have we met before? Yeah. Do you know Blake Aiken?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. This is this is my favorite thing that ever happens. Okay. This happened once when we had Hammer Party, when I realized that they were actually, James was actually in a band called Indian Giver, and like that was the very first show I ever saw when I first moved to Huntsville. So I was like, oh my god, this is you. Like I never thought this would happen. But I was having this moment of like, do I know Josh? I feel like I know him from somewhere, and I feel like we jammed out in Avenue L one time, me, you, and Blake Aiken, and like it was just such a random like thing, and like Blake is very like. You never know what he's gonna do with music because like sometimes he'll do like punk rock, but then sometimes he'll do like just some experimental. Like,
I've never
stuff.
jammed with Blake Aiken. I had him in class for like several different classes.
Yeah. Well, when I first met him, he was very much into like Misfits and punk rock and everything,
but
like
also
that.
jazz.
Yeah,
like, he was really big into
such
jazz.
a soft voice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what he's. I
haven't seen him in years.
He's
dude.
in like Seattle or like
Is
something.
he?
I think he's in Portland.
Portland, yeah, something like that.
Oh man.
And
so he's
last
probably way more hipster than we could ever hope to be.
Probably. But last I saw him, he had like a gray beard. It was really, really weird.
Yeah, it used to be like jet black.
Yeah.
Jet black beard.
And then like his sideburns are like all gray, and I think his chin is black. I don't know what it is, but
No, I have a great story about his beard. Actually, we we went. I mean, way back in the day. I mean, we were like probably like 18, 17. We went to like Habib's to I don't know, get cigars or something, and you know, at 17, 18, you know, he just had the thickest, blackest, most beautiful shiny beard like you had ever seen. And we go to the front counter to check out, and the Indian guy, it may have been Habib, but he looked at his beard and he was like, "That's not real." And we just like looked at each other and looked back at him, and Blake was like, "Damn straight, it's real." And he was like, "No, that's not real." and Blake was like, "You could feel it. You want to give it a tug?" He was like, "Yeah." And the dude like tugged on his beard to make sure it was real.
Oh my god!
And he was just like, "Very nice." Yes. And you know, the rest of the day, you know, we're just joking about it. Like,
please tell me he showed up in like a big jacket, so like the guy thought there were like 3 kids.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, Blake was on cloud 9. Yeah. From then on, he was like, "Yeah, in their culture, it probably means like, you know, have the most honor,
probably,
or whatever."
Yeah. He's the richest man.
Sure,
yeah. He has all the goats.
Yeah. Well, that's just something I wanted to figure out for myself. Like, this could have come completely wrong. You'd be like, "No, that wasn't me. That
I
was
remember you.
somebody."
I mean, you were pretty quiet back then, and you played drums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were just playing some. For some reason, we were just playing some like. What I remember is very just sort of experimental, kind of ambient type sounds.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really fun, but it was just sort of like, is that Josh? I don't know.
Was David Jameson with us that one?
He
time?
might have been. I know him and Blake.
Was that
real close.
when we like walked to the corner store and like all the cops like came because it was closed and we didn't know it was closed? And...
I don't remember that detail.
Maybe
It
that
wouldn't surprise
was
me,
in
but anyways. But yeah, you're now that I know that this was way back in the day, so you've been playing music for a good while now, right?
Yeah. I mean, at least playing live, I guess, since I was 18. So like, you know, better part of.
See, I remember you before that.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, I played in my room or at my house. You know, like,
as far as I remember, you guys had some pretty cool guitars.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing like, I guess, in bands for, you know, about 10 years. I guess.
Was there ever a moment before you were doing stuff with bands where like you were just playing music by yourself, like getting into making sounds or noises at a younger age?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, back in the day when I was mainly just playing guitar, you know, I mean, I wanted to be like, you know, a virtuoso, you know, I had like, I mean, I listened to a lot of different stuff, but, you know,
genius.
I was also into, you know, like, the G3 concerts with like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani and all that. And, you know, I was homeschooled, so like, I had all the time in the world. I mean, I practiced like, you know, 4 hours a day and just like, you know, was trying to become the fastest in all the land, I guess, so to speak. But, you know, after a while, I was like, yeah, after a certain point, it just like wasn't for me. It's like, this isn't my favorite music to play, so I'm just not. I'm gonna take the time. I've been practicing shredding and like actually start writing.
Yeah.
You know, music people would actually listen to, I guess.
So there was probably a good time where like you were just obsessing over music and like just constantly listening and trying. Were you like trying to play every song that you ever heard?
Oh yeah. Well, and I've never been a big fan of like learning covers. I mean, I would learn songs just to kind of like, I guess, get the technique down, but I was never like an open mic type of guy.
Right.
I don't know. I just never liked playing covers. I mean, since then, you know, I'll play like weddings for friends every now and then. I'll learn some covers or whatever, and that's fun. But as far as like a band setting, you know, I've never played in a band, at least that wrote original stuff, and you know, we never like mixed covers in there. I've just always been kind of like, I don't want to like mix covers with original music. But I mean, that's just me,
sense,
you know.
yeah.
Is that? Do you think that's a part of you that sort of wants to focus more on like your own creative voice? Or?
Yeah. You know, I guess it's prioritizing, you know, your time. It's like I would much rather work on original stuff than like, you know, work on
because you'll definitely find like
others.
artists and bands that, you know, whenever they're in the very beginning stages of their band, they just want to figure out how to gel with each other.
Yeah.
And you know, that's usually how bands work. It's like you find a song that you guys like, let's jam it out, let's just get the chemistry going, and then after that you sort of like take from your influences and then start to work on your own
yeah,
songs.
and that's important. I mean, when you first start playing music, I mean, it's inevitable you're gonna play some covers, you know, to like,
Right.
Especially
Get
if you're not
everybody
all
else to kind of connect to it for a minute.
If
you
you're
know.
not all especially very good at your instruments yet, too. It's
Yeah,
like, okay, let's get this formulaic song.
Let's get the smoke and the smoke on the water out of the way.
Exactly.
All those, you know, cheesy easy songs.
Zombie.
So how did the Anthemeers start?
The Anthemeers. Oh man. So back in the day, there wasn't much of a music scene at the time.
Right.
And pretty much I had a choice of playing, you know, in good old Huntsville. It was either country music or praise and worship music. And
it's tough choice to make.
Yeah, it was kind of tough, but I chose praise and worship. And it was actually pretty fun for a while.
Is that what Anthemeers is?
Well, they started. I met some of them through that.
Okay.
I guess it was Huntsville Community Church. It was kind of a little more on the hippie side.
See,
like
Niko's been in a
movement.
Christian band before.
Yeah, I was in. I think we played mostly out of Second Baptist. But yeah, that was like the first band I was ever doing. But the thing is I didn't know it was a Christian band until like later on. The dude that I was playing with, like, yeah, we were just like would go to our house and just like or my house, and we would just jam out for all day long, and then cool. And then suddenly he was bringing his Bibles and just sort of like, let's start talking about this and this.
Like,
and I was like,
there's a lot of songs about Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're like looking through the lyrics, like,
And not like the Toadies.
yeah.
It's like, this guy really loves Jesus.
Yeah, and not that I wasn't about all of that, I just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And I was like 14, and I was like, you know, I wouldn't say I was like more towards like the goth thing or whatever, but like I had long black hair, I wore all black clothes, and all out of nowhere I'm in this Christian rock band. I was like, okay, cool. But I think I took it more of just like the opportunity to play music with like my school time, school had friends.
Well, and it's a great format. You know, I mean, churches like have the space and the equipment.
So yeah, sometimes
and the
they've got the PA and the support. It's certainly a good way. I've always kind of been envious of being able to be in a Christian band, like, because it gives you that opportunity.
Not to mention, it kind of makes you feel like a rock star. Like you show up to a place,
yeah, dude.
It's already packed.
Yeah, no. Well, not just that, but like you go there and like they already have guitars waiting for you. You have like good amps waiting for you, and it's like I don't have to bring anything.
Yeah, you
all
don't
the
have to
already
like,
there. You know,
set up hardly anything, and people are like just totally into the music.
Yeah. No, I was pretty stunned by seeing people. You know, because whenever praise and worship music, there's always the guy with his eyes closed, his hands in the air, just sort of like doing that whole thing. I was like, wow, they're actually doing that for my show. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah, but
We're
it was
that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Anthemeers started off that way, and you know, we naturally, you know, were a lot of us were writers, and I guess we kept writing music that was just not very churchy.
Right.
And, we would even, like, introduce, like, some of the songs, to the church. And, it was more of a hippie church, so we thought, hey, these would go over good. But, at some point, like, every church is going to be like, yeah, that's just, a lot of people just don't get that. Like, keep it a little more, like, simple, generic. So we just kind of gradually moved further and further away from, the church venues, I guess.
They apparently don't like it when you have songs about finger banging.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't like that.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, because you think of, like more, like, I don't know if you want to call them, like, hardcore Christian band. Like, like, there was that one band, Under Oath, I want to say. Like, they were, like that metal kind of screamo type sound.
Yeah.
Then you find out they were all about Jesus.
Right.
And it's sort of like, how can you scream and how can you be, like, really hardcore aggressive?
It'd be way easier to hide songs about finger banging.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you can't Yeah, it's funny because, I mean, I don't know. Like, y'all are more accustomed, like, to the metal scene. I mean, I went through my phase, but, like,
right.
I can't understand. I mean, I guess I'm an old man when it comes to that. I can't understand a damn thing they're saying. But, like, I couldn't distinguish, like, Christian from non-Christian in, like, the metal scene.
Yeah, no.
We can neither. I mean, obviously, with, like, Under Oath, I didn't even have any idea.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those, you break down their lyrics. And then, like, when they do those things during the show, we're like, this isn't about us, man. This is all about our Lord and Savior who died for us.
Yeah.
He died for us, man.
Yeah,
it's like,
they have to be clear.
Whoa, like, yeah, like,
I'd be the guy in the crowd. Way to make it awkward, dude.
Yeah. Keep it in the church, pal.
Yeah. Right.
I came here to mosh. I didn't come here to feel guilty about my sins.
Take it out in the mosh, man.
That's. I mean,
I can see myself moshing to Jesus.
Probably,
so,
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I've heard stories of, like, I've heard people say, yeah, Christian metal, like, they have the best mosh pits and stuff. Like, that's probably coming from a Christian in the metal scene, but
he didn't really go to Cannibal Corpse, did he?
Right.
Yeah.
So how long was it that you were doing this before you kind of, like, decided that you wanted to leave that and do something different?
Yeah, so let's see. We were together for a few years. I mean, it was a huge group. It was a 7-piece.
Oh, wow.
And we had our own sound guy, so it was pretty much an 8-piece. So, I mean,
it's a lot of people. Did you have a guy
it
playing
was
the
a
triangle?
huge posse. I mean, I think we did have a triangle somewhere in there. But yeah, I mean, everything from, like, different horn instruments to electric guitar. We had, like, a antique pump organ with
cool.
billows. I mean, we had, like,
did it have a ska feel to it? Because that would be cool.
Not really a ska. It was.
Always wanted a trombone in my band.
Well, we had like kind of 3 main writers, and we kind of took turns, like, leading songs, and so it was very, I guess, eclectic. You could say, to say the least. I mean, we had some more folky songs, some more rock, some in between. I don't know. It was kind of a general indie rock feel, I guess.
That's beautiful, man.
That is.
Well, now, was this the sort of music that you were into at the time?
Yeah, for sure. And I guess somewhere along the way, I started writing more and kind of going, I don't know, wanting to go a little bit more, like, electronic, but not too electronic. We were slowly introducing Ableton into the band, like, kind of before it imploded.
Right.
Like intros and stuff like that?
Yeah. We had, like, Ableton going and trying to incorporate some beats and different synthesizer type stuff.
It's pretty cool.
So, yeah, it was an evolving project, I guess, naturally over a few years. But yeah, we eventually imploded because 7 members is very, very hard to maintain.
Right.
And, once people start, like, having kids and stuff, it's just becomes kind of impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. So your music now, what gave you the idea to get started on something of your own?
Well,
And what exactly is it called?
I guess as of now, are you talking about like what kind of music or like the name of the project?
The name. What is the name?
The name of the project would be Josho and the Gentleman Guppy. Is kind of what I'm, there's nothing official out there besides, a Bandcamp.
Right.
But for now, that's kind of the name I'm going with.
Right.
Because I kind of want to push, because, I don't know, after being in such a big band and, stepping on a lot of people's toes. I mean,
Right.
we were family, best of
Right.
friends.
You
But,
need
there
you
is
got a little
lot
bit of freedom now.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of give and take,
Right.
and sacrificing, your original vision versus,
And that's what's important. You got to really express all of that personal vision, all of that, what you want to do. It sucks having to step on other people's toes because they've got a vision too. And more than likely, it's not going to be the exact same one. So, you at least have to have one creative mind that has a vision and is able to fulfill it, because you can talk about it all day and nobody else is going to get it until you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, and it was a cool format. Like, it really was. It was very communal. Like, there really were no established rules most of the time. We just kind of talked through it.
Communicated.
So and that,
which is very important.
Yeah, and it was beautiful, but it was also it was a headache, and it was a very emotional. When you're sharing your music with so many other people and getting feedback and reworking stuff,
Right.
it can be very very personal, and a lot of feelings get hurt.
It's a relationship.
It is.
Yeah, that's always the tricky thing whenever you work with a group of people, because like you want this to be like a thing where you immediately just want to be like brothers, and you want to treat it like family, and you want to allow yourself to be vulnerable with these people. But then sometimes whenever you come up with an idea and someone's like, I'm not really feeling that, you're just sort of like, you get real crushed sometimes.
Well, and yeah, it's a hard thing to deal with, kind of I think it is important, probably more so than we understood at the time, to set up certain rules and regulations, I guess, because a lot of people think these big bands like Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd, I think they all kind of just assume they all just perfectly gel together and like they just talk through everything. But I guarantee you, and a lot of their interviews, they'll say they do have like a formula. Like, usually there's, one, maybe two guys writing, and, it's better sometimes to have more of a dictator.
A lot
like,
of
okay,
the better bands
this way.
have fucking real fights.
Yeah.
Real fights. Like, I was listening to a podcast with Metallica. It was, what's his name from Metallica?
James Hetfield.
James Hetfield talking. He was like, dude, me and Lars go at it like head to head, like all the time.
Everyone would go head to head with Lars.
Probably.
Yeah. But they also have the best chemistry too when it comes down to it. Me and Niko were in a band for a long time. Me and him would fight. Me and Gary would fight all the time.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that is the best push too. When you have somebody telling you, no, that sounds like shit. Like, that is horrible. You gotta, you need that. You need that in I'm totally all in for like having my own project too, but it's also good to get that little bit of
that objective.
You gotta have it. Yeah.
The other, someone else looking in.
Last time I went to the recording studio, what I did was I brought the two guys from my old band, Gary and Niko. These are the few people in the world that will tell me that sucks. You need to go in there and do it right. And you gotta have that I don't know, that backlash.
Constructive criticism.
Exactly.
That's where you have to take off your best friend hat and you got to put on your producer hat and then do it better this time.
Yeah. No. Constructive criticism. That's key. And I've kind of been like in my own little hole for the last year, I guess better part of a year, working on new sounds, kind of learning Ableton Live and kind of developing sounds and songs and stuff. But, I have had a couple people at least to come in and kind of like check on my work and be like, hey,
That's
dude,
good.
yeah, does this suck? Like,
Yeah.
like, am I
Somebody you
onto
trust.
something here?
Yeah.
Are you a harsh critic on yourself? Like, have you ever like listened to something you did before and it's like, wow, that was just you know?
Oh yeah. And it's definitely gotten much better. I mean, I can write much more freely now, and I don't know. I can take it at least less harsh on myself. It's a little less like personal vendetta against myself, and more like, okay, I could do that better. Versus like, oh my god, my voice, like, hate the sound of my voice, like, just scrap it. No, like, I definitely have a better, healthier work ethic this go around.
I think I'm the same way. Like, I know nowadays it's just sort of like, because I think before I was like very like emotionally attached to what I was doing. To like, is this really like capturing what I'm trying to say? Kind of like pretentious musician, pretentious artist kind of. But now it's like, what's the best thing that we can do for the song? What's the best thing I can do to add to what somebody else is doing? It's very much you have to let go of like the personal bullshit. Just focus all of your energy on that piece of work.
That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
You also don't want to love it too much. You got to at least be able to go in there and be like, you know what? I think I can do better this time around, and be able to easily just scrap it.
Yeah.
Easily cut it out, and then do another take.
For sure. I guess we're going back to this Josho and the Gentleman Guppy. I'm curious, who the hell is the Gentleman Guppy?
So the Gentleman Guppy, I guess it's kind of funny. I don't know. It could sound a little sexist too. So far it's just my wife, and I'm trying to tap a third person right now, because the core, like, I want to keep it smaller. For one, I can, because I'm working with Ableton.
Technically, it's the Gentlewoman Guppy.
Yeah. But yeah, I have a lot of triggers, and I'm working with Ableton, so the majority of the music I can actually do myself and perform myself. But I want people to play with me. For one, it's just a way better stage presence.
Oh yeah, of course. And oftentimes he'll talk about like doing shows. It's just him right now working his own thing. He's got like a little drum machine in his amp, and I'm thinking like, that's cool and all, but like what you really need is you need the band, like just like the whole like, when you go to a show, you need that band experience where you get everybody walking on and like everyone doing their part instead of just everything coming out of one speaker.
Right.
I don't know. I guess me personally, just being sort of like a purist as far as like with bands, like you enjoy seeing.
You like to see the chemistry. People working with each other towards a common goal. In collective experience. I guess.
Sure. Yeah, it gives it more. I don't know, just an
magic.
overall, magical feeling. I mean, like when you ever think about like going to like to see your favorite band. You know what I mean? Like you have like one of my favorite bands is have you ever heard of a band called Circus Survive? By any chance?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Well, anyways, like it's kind of like experimental progressive rock. Like I enjoy their lead singer because he does his own solo stuff, but like I enjoy it more when I see like my favorite guitarist and my favorite drummer, my favorite bass player, like all these other guys are sort of like coming in, and it's more of a collective thing, to where it's like you're getting the full head-on thing,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Plus, it's just kind of awkward seeing one person on stage. I don't know, just doing
I mean, unless they're really good,
and
doing
like Adele can do it all day long, no problem.
Well, even
Beyonce,
like 9 Inch Nails, like seeing he always has a band with him. He does his own. Trent Reznor writes all the music, he puts it all together, but I mean, it wouldn't be quite as good as.
Well, and I know the guy from Tame Impala. I know he writes, and I think does most of the instrument tracking himself.
Right.
And then he basically gets a band to play it live with him.
Yeah.
And, there's surprisingly, like, more of those people than you would probably imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially these days when people can, with Ableton or whatever programs, they can record anything, by themselves.
And I'd be happy doing that.
Yeah, right?
Musical geniuses, man.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, like I said, I went through the Anthem years, which was an incredible experience. Like I grew as a musician through all those relationships, and them challenging me and me challenging them. But now, like, I feel like I have the capabilities to write, kind of take the same aesthetics as far as like a big sound, because I love layers on top of layers on top of layers and textures, and I'm kind of bringing that aesthetic into this new project. But it's fun because I'm kind of like, I'm getting to do it all, It's really fun.
Well, we listen to your music, and I really dig it. I could definitely see more people involved in it. And,
and that's the thing. Like, I could make it as big as I want, or as small as I want.
Right.
Like,
I think
with the new digital age.
I do think that there is a little bit more respect given whenever somebody sees you, and instead of just pushing triggers only, there's more people doing other, like, somebody playing bass or somebody, whatever.
Exactly.
And I think it'll be a little bit more noticeable and more feel like a full.
Well, and the third person I'm going to get is definitely going to be a percussionist, because, like,
that'd be cool.
Like,
that's
beats,
what's needed.
Yeah,
too.
like, electronic beats are awesome live, but man, if you get like a live percussionist on top of that,
if you can do both,
even just like two people, as long as you get a live percussionist, like it's awesome.
Yeah, going to some of your songs, like listening to Cinnamon, like knowing if there was like somebody like doing like the actual like like that sort of thing going on, that would totally like just liven that thing up.
Oh yeah, and Cinnamon, that's actually a song I originally wrote with the Anthemeers, like right before we broke up. Basically, we never actually officially released it, so it was one of those songs like I really liked. I guess Nathan Huff, he's kind of like my songwriting soulmate. I love playing music with the guy. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But he like started with this guitar riff, and then I just kind of like took it and ran with it and like wrote this song. And I mean, it's got a lot of energy, and
that's what I wanted to say. Out of the 4 songs that you have
happy.
on
it's
Bandcamp,
so happy.
It definitely has more energetic, more. I don't want to say aggressive, but it's like
Upbeat.
very, you kind of keep.
Well, and we played it as a 7-piece, and it killed live, like every time. Like people, like you said, it's happy. Like people like, bounce with it. Like we always like closed with that.
Oh, nice.
Like,
That's
even
cool.
if we were having like a all right show, like as long as we like closed with Cinnamon, and got people moving and stuff, we're like, all right, that's a good day's work.
Yeah. No, I feel like that would be a very satisfying feeling if you hear like fans play Cinnamon.
Yeah. It's like, we will a couple more songs. But yeah, that's honestly like one of the biggest reasons. Like I'm kind of reclaiming that song for this new project. Cause
it works, dude.
I know it's gonna like be a crowd pleaser.
Oh, that's very.
I want to say, I think that your music, I hate to compare it to like anything because it's got its own sound to it, but like it is something I can definitely hear like being played on the main stations. I can definitely hear it on 94.5 The Buzz, and I don't know how you want to take that, but it's kind of like the push that they have towards like certain bands like Passion Pit, and MGMT.
Yeah, for sure.
And
see,
so,
I haven't listened to The Buzz in so long. I didn't know they were even playing that stuff.
I mean that
awesome.
stuff is really kind of what's hot right now.
Oh yeah.
So I think that this is a good time for the music that you're pushing out.
Yeah.
Because it kind of it's indie, but it's got a poppy feel. You know, it's like a really nice feel. And honestly, like I don't know what song it was, but it also has an old school feel to it too. Like I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it brought me back to, and I want to say it was Zest. But it reminded me of like put the lime in the coconut. It's something in the percussion.
Yeah.
And it was really, I don't know if it was the bass or the percussion in the song, but I really like that song.
Yeah, well that's what I'm into now, is kind of pop, but kind of, a little more experimental pop, I guess.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Chet Faker, by any chance?
Yes.
He did a cover of No Diggity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like his
My
music
wife
is
sings
like
that song.
he like I think it was a little bit of Zest, where it kind of like the bass and drum groove that it had to it, just sort of kind of like that real fun, just sort of like R&B-ish type of groove to it.
Yeah.
And like I was listening to a lot of like they have a playlist on Spotify called Alternative R&B, which is kind of like that same style where it's just like really mellow, really grooving, but still has like that really comfortable bassy feeling that you get from R&B songs. But yeah, when listening to Zest and hearing how it started, it's like this kind of sounds like some Chet Faker. I don't know if you had heard it by any chance.
There's a certain thing in the song that you use that I really like, and I've only heard it like in like it's a certain effect. I don't know what you're doing. I'm pretty sure that it's guitar, but I've only heard it before in like How to Destroy Angels. Are you familiar with that band?
I don't think so.
It's Trent Reznor and his wife have a band.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Basically, it's the part. It sounds like something running. You know what I mean? It's a certain effect that you're using. Do you know what I'm talking about in Zest? It's like it's a different feel. Like it's not bassy at all. It's just like this certain thing in the background. It's like where you place it. I think it's guitar with a certain effect.
Yeah, it could be. I know on the synthesizer I play on that, it has a lot of delay, and you can only like really tell on like kind of the tail end of it, but it has like a kind of stereo bouncing thing going on. It's kind of like a ping pong delay. It has a bunch of layers on it, but that may be it because it does play on top of each other at a certain kind of
it's something you've got like
rhythm.
a beat going on, and then the beat's going on, and then eventually like
I also have a lot of shaker like that has a lot of.
Well, what I'm talking about is not a percussion thing.
Okay.
It's just like I see it. I visualize it, okay?
The listeners cannot see the struggle that you're going through right now trying to explain this.
Tell me what you see.
But it's like the first actual, not riff, but just like, it may be a riff, I don't know. It's just like like, it's, what's the word? Textural.
Okay.
You know, and it doesn't affect like the bass at all. It's just like in the background.
Okay, yeah, no... It's probably like maybe like a flanger. Is it kind of like a pitchy thing?
Maybe, I don't know.
Cool. Well, I mean, this is good because now listeners are going to be like,
listeners are going to check out what the
this?
fuck was John talking about?
What are they talking about?
I just want to say this is kind of a cringy moment, like you trying to explain a part of music to the artist, like he doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Help me, help you.
It's all good though, man.
No, it's good.
I've got nothing to go off. Yeah. I do like the glitchy sounds that you have in it too. That's really cool because it's got this natural percussion, and then it goes like to these like glitches, you know.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I'm going for. You know, I like pop, but I like, you know, weird textures.
Right.
You know, and I think going with a general kind of mindset of going into something wanting to give to people, you know, a hook.
Certainly something new.
But also provide them with maybe some textures or something that maybe they've never heard before, whether it's like sampling something or whatever.
That shit'll get me hooked on a song.
Yeah,
totally. I think we both can agree that Zest was probably one of our favorite songs off of this, but I will definitely say that Miss You was definitely one of my favorite ones. And it says that your wife was credited on this one as well?
Yeah. She did the harmonies with me, and we kind of, you know, did the tag, like, tag team, the lead vocals.
Was this the first song that you and her ever did together, or?
I mean, we've written songs. I mean, we don't do like exactly. We don't sit down and like write a song together. You know, usually it's like I write a song and I'll be like, hey, I could use, you know, your help, maybe some input.
Is she interested at all? Is she interested at all, or are you sort of like, hey, give me your, you know, high voice to harmonize with what I'm doing?
Sometimes I feel like, you know, she's like, oh, okay, you know, but sometimes she may be like intimidated, or, you know, she's one of those very humble musicians. Like, she's actually like fucking brilliant. Like, like she's one of those musicians who is not. She, like, doesn't rely on any kind of formula. Like, she grew up playing classical piano.
Right.
And then just kind of randomly picked up guitar years later. And just, the shit she writes is, like, she'll write in weird time signatures where I like seriously have to sit there and like count it out just to be able to try and play along with her. And we actually just finished up one of her solo songs. I got to produce it, which was really fun. And it's like in 7/8, very
that weird
experimental,
shit,
I'll have to send it y'all's way when we get it ready
but,
to release.
More about that song. I think I just really enjoyed. Obviously, I think all of the music is great, but then just going lyrically and just hearing those words like "I miss you," I miss you. It's one of those. Like, I think I was able to. Obviously, you take something like this, you're able to attach it to somebody.
Yeah.
Do you write certain lyrics to kind of have more of like that overall like general like. Or, like more of like a specific like feeling like directly towards someone, or are you trying to leave it kind of open-ended where you can...
Yeah, I do both. With certain songs, I may want... Okay, so Miss You was definitely more personal, and the opposite, I guess I would say, like Cinnamon was kind of like I was specifically using very vague, kind of abstract terminology. Cinnamon... Like, I use the word cinnamon in a way where I think anyone would kind of assume it was...
Butt sex.
Yeah, exactly. You say butt sex, someone else might say drugs, someone else might say love. Like, everyone has their own interpretation of cinnamon.
I'm going to go with butt sex.
Yeah, and like Miss You, like it's a little more direct if you actually read the lyrics. It's, I guess, more about... when you've been with someone for so long, you struggle with, kind of growing apart and, missing like, what you used to do or the old feelings, so it's kind of like about reconciling, with those emotions. So it was very different for me, and, we sang it together. So it was, was a little harsh,
I imagine so.
Singing, honestly about those things, but
and hey, man, fucking right on for getting through that shit. Yeah, I know I would fucking have a panic attack. Like, I'm finally saying some shit I didn't think I'd ever say. Oh my god,
Yeah, and it's an interesting. We're both very non-confrontational people for the most part, so I think music is a way for us to kind of get some of those emotions and feelings out. And, we can kind of. Sometimes, gauge each other by, like, the music we're writing at the time or whatever. Even if we don't release it to the public, we can kind of look at each other's lyrics and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know you felt that way.
Right. But I've always felt like that's one of those, like, beautiful parts of just music in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's used a lot as, just something to, to comfort you and just to entertain, but it can also be used as a form of tool, as a form of therapy, or it's whatever you need it to be. It's so versatile, you can use it literally for anything.
Well, and I've learned, more than anything, I've learned more, about myself, through my writing. And, how I write lyrics is, I don't write, a full song hardly ever in like a sitting. Sometimes I'll write a few lines, sit it down, maybe even like weeks later, I'll write a few more lines. Weeks later, I'll write a few more lines. And, I'll jump between songs and whatnot. Right. But usually when I sit down, I'll start putting lines together and they'll actually be very like congruent and cohesive. And I'm like, oh man, I'm trying to say this, like I'm going through, these emotions, and also they also become different meanings at different times in your life. So, like, I'll look at old lyrics and I'll get a completely different interpretation from where I'm at now. So it's weird, It's like revealing yourself to yourself in a very kind of like disassociated kind of way,
Yeah. No, I think I listened to a song that we did a long time ago, and I think at the time it was just more about like having fun, like just like the process was just having fun and just going through it and figuring out what sounds the best. I remember listening to it recently and I was like, wow, this is really kind of like, I can, really associate with like the aggression that was going on into this a lot now with life. I don't know if that just comes with being older and, stressing over things a little bit more. You kind of go directly towards like the more, I don't know, want to say negative stuff, but like more like aggressive stuff, just sort of like be the soundtrack of what you're going through in your life at the time. I don't know. Like I said, fucking music's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man.
But what like, since you did this, sticking with Miss You, like you just said, like, you know, you're sort of like revealing some things that you're going through with, I mean, not going through, but like, you know, certain things with your wife. How does she like interpret like things that you were saying? Was she, did you guys have a sit down, like, okay, what's going on, or is it sort of like a mutual, like, we're both in the same spot with this kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's stuff, you know, you work out. I mean, usually, like, with us, you know, getting more, like, personal, usually, like, it's every few months, you know, when we have, like, that really serious, you know, sit down and, you know, we, like, really get into the nitty-gritty. But, you know, usually it's stuff, you know, we already kind of know. We just have a hard time vocalizing it, you know. You don't want to, like, hurt the other person's feelings, you know. You don't want to do this or that, but just voicing it, whether it's through a song or, you know, talking about it or whatever, you know, as long as you get it out of you, you know, and you don't billow it up, you know, within yourself. You know, like, you don't, I mean, you'd have to write a pretty, like, harsh song, I think, for, like, the other person to, like, really get offended. You know, this is just kind of, like, being honest about things we mutually already kind of know or have felt, you know, because, I mean, any relationship, whether it's, you know, platonic or romantic, I mean, it has its ups and downs if you're actually really close, you know.
Yeah, of course. But do you feel like it, like, the end product of it, do you think it was just an overall, like, positive thing for...
Oh, yeah, and I guess lyrically, you know, it does kind of end on a kind of optimistic note. I mean, as far as trying, you know, as long as you're, like, trying, then, you know, usually it'll work out, you know. Like, as long as both people are trying, like, I feel like most any relationship, like, can work out.
Awesome.
So what is the plan for Josho and Gentleman Guppy?
So yeah,
Gentlewoman Guppy.
Yeah, Gentlewoman Guppy. So right now I am working up a live set. So I've been buying some new equipment to, you know, play it how I envision like me playing it.
What are you short now?
Right now, let's see. I need some stands.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I just bought, you know, a new MIDI keyboard, you know, the push 2, like, you know, just getting, you know, a bunch of equipment. And I mean, honestly, the biggest thing right now is, you know, I really want a percussionist. So I'm kind of, I've been talking to different people, feeling them out, you know, like, I wish I was more networked, you know, than
man, all you need is an egg shaker. I'm telling you.
Yeah, right.
And an egg shaker, and you're fucking good.
I know, but like most of the drummers I know, at least the good ones, you know, they're already in bands, and it's, you know, and they're friends, you know, with their bands, so it's like, well, could you also play with me? But also, I don't want you to step on their toes, you know, like, you don't want any bad blood.
No,
you
yeah,
know?
for sure.
Like, sharing members can get really...
Yeah,
that's
really
what I'm saying.
tricky.
To the egg shaker, man. You can get fucking John Ryan or someone. To, you know, shake an egg.
Shake the hell out of that egg, boy. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So hopefully, you know, and I'm kind of going back and like reformatting a bunch of the songs and, you know, making it optimal for live performance. So hopefully,
I'm pretty excited, man.
I know.
I definitely want to see this.
I'm very excited too. I haven't like regularly played live in, you know, quite a while.
If you had simple enough percussion, I would be fucking totally for it.
Cool. I will keep that a note.
You know what's funny that you just say that is like today I realized that it's been like 6 years since I played my very last show.
Oh damn!
Like, cause like I've been in the process. Like I moved and I was gone for 3 years, and then I came back, and then me and my buddy, we've been working on some music, and musicians, like we had a singer for a little bit, then he just left. Our bass player is with us sometimes he's not. So it's sort of like one of those tough things that just kind of been going on and off, not on and off, but like we've been doing it for a while, trying to at least get it going.
Oh yeah.
But today, like checking through my Facebook memories, I saw like the very last show that I did with my guys, and like just going back to that emotional ass moment where it's like
it can be painful. I mean, like it's really fun to see that stuff, but also
it's nostalgic. It's really fun just to go back in time to that memory and like thinking all because like the moment for me was like I had just did a mohawk. I always wanted a mohawk, and I always wanted a red mohawk. I kind of have like an alter ego, like a band alter ego. I mean, it's like a stage alter ego where like I have a red mohawk, and like they call me the animal because like I'm behind the drums. I'm just going fucking crazy. And
He also wears drag.
also wears
No, I'm
drag.
just kidding.
But what I did was I had a hoodie on and nobody could see it, and I was thinking, okay, as soon as we start the show, I'm just gonna take it off and just show it off, and like, bam, it's that moment I've always wanted. And I was just thinking about like how hard it was to keep my hoodie over my head to like kind of hide it the whole day.
You kind of like probably mat it down unless you like.
Well, I mean, yeah,
sprayed the shit out of it. You know?
Well, what's funny is like I dyed it like 3 days before the show, and then it went from like a good solid red to like pink. And because I had to bleach my hair, like I had pink and blonde hair for a good minute. I was like, this is not at all what I was hoping for, but people seem to dig it, so fuck it. So I was trying to hide this hot pink mohawk for a good minute, which is hard, and I imagine probably some people saw it, but I just remember like taking the hoodie off and like seeing people like, wow, you know, not like a mohawk is anything too crazy to see, but like nobody expected me to do that stuff.
Well, that stuff is fun because like I mean, you can literally be whoever you want to be on the stage. You know? Like
sure.
your ambitions or, you know, insecurities prohibiting you. I mean, you are, you know, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just whatever you can pull off,
Yeah.
man.
I always felt like I was my best self whenever I was on stage. Just because, I mean, until those moments where I would fuck up a song, then that's sort of where like that's the most humanizing moment, because you're like, oh shit, like, and you're trying to catch it and you're trying to like bring it back to where it was. Like, I remember there was one song we did where like I forgot to go into the next part, so I'm still playing the previous part over, and everyone's just sort of like looking back at me, and I'm thinking, what? Oh shit, you know, it's sort of like, oh my god, most embarrassing moment I've ever had. That, and I hit myself in the eye with my drumstick and saw red. Like, I couldn't see out of one eye for like a good second.
I remember this.
Yeah, and then one of my cymbals, like, because we were playing at Lizards a lot, and the stage was so damn small, and we had like rugs on the floor for my drums, but still, like with the amps and everything, it was like really close. And I remember one time I tried to hit the cymbal, and the cymbal stand just sort of like fell over. And I think either you caught it or like somebody else like caught it just as it was about to fall. Yeah. And I was like, man, this isn't all that fun as I thought it would be. You know?
Punk rock, man.
Oh yeah, very much was that. I mean, by the time we had a show where someone was bleeding all over the place, I was like, okay, we're getting pretty gnarly. This is pretty fucking hardcore.
We're going places.
Good times though.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, what songs would you like us to share with our peeps?
I guess, I mean, since we've mentioned Zest and Cinnamon, I guess what...
We're going to play Zest, and then we're going to play Cinnamon.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll end the show the way you would end your show with Cinnamon.
All right,
for sure.
awesome. Yeah, there you go.
But definitely, Josh, we want to thank you so much for being on.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any plugs or anything you want to mention? Free plug time?
Josho.bandcamp.com.
Who did the, like, all of, like, the... I don't know, I want to say artwork, like, all, like, the... like there's that picture of you with all like that
stuff. It was actually me, and my mom is actually a photographer.
That's pretty cool.
Ginger Snaps.
Nice.
Check her out. But yeah, she's great, and I don't know. It was really cool. I've never like worked on anything like artistic with my mom before, and like it was a really cool experience. Like kind of like bonding with her, you know, with
That's
like
cool.
through our art. So I kind of had these general visions for like what I was going for, and she, you know, obliged them, and then we kind of like edited them to get a more like kind of surrealism like going on.
That's awesome.
Like, it was really fun.
That sort of makes me feel like, because like my mom, she understands that I'm a musician. I've been doing this for so damn long, and she understands that I'm really big into music and art and everything like that. So like we've had talks about music. Yeah. Like I think we listened to the most recent Childish Gambino album together, and we were just sort of like talking. No, I'm serious. Like we were like just talking about like. Well, I think she was like, well, what do you feel about this song? Like, I mean, what do you think about this part and everything like that? And I'm talking about, like, you know, it's got a great groove, you know, and everything about it. And I'm realizing I'm having the music talk with my mom, and I'm thinking, this is like bonding shit right here. Like,
I know.
I always wanted this, so I think it's really awesome that, you know,
so
you kind of have that thing with your mom with this photography. It's really great, you know, like the lights and everything like that. I think it looks really cool. But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up with our show. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely.
And,
it was awesome. Love y'all's show.
Appreciate
great
it,
stuff.
We're gonna listen to some tunes, and we'll fade it out after that.
All right.
All right. But thank you very much, Josh. Good night. Bye.
I'll watch you undress. Fortify the lust of my unrest. Let me taste your goddess zest. Store me up and pour me down. Sip on love and we almost drown. Passion hands will gently graze. Tongues inside the sultry days. Hearts racing to the rhythm of our breathing. Make you want more of what I've been tempting and teasing. Hearts racing to the rhythm of our breathing. Make you want more of what I've been tempting and teasing. Hearts racing to the rhythm of our breathing. Make you want more of what I've been tempting and teasing. The heart's racing to the rhythm of our breathing. Make you want more of what I've been tempting and teasing. Store me up and pour me down. Sip on love and we almost drown. Passion hands will gently graze. Tongues inside the sultry days. Beckon me and I'll heed the call. Grip on you and I'll always fall. Pull me in and pull me out. Pleasure play without fear or doubt. love is past, the love whose spirit's in it. Give me that love, cause I'm feeling in it. Give me a kiss, it's the truth, I'll kiss is spinning in it. It's in you, it's in me. When the sun shines through my blue, it's reflected off your sea. My presence forgives, it's your past is always been the wine we drink. To forget how it's been is the bread we break to celebrate the life we live in. Here's to the lovely few who find it through to a precious two-man man. Who the cosmic true to be nestled in the infinite blue of every child's mind blue. And kissing your heart, and kissing my heart. It's not hard when you taste the cinnamon in it.